Jungkook's POV. The soft beeping of machines echoed down the hall as I walked with slow, heavy steps. My heart clenched as I reached the door to YN's mother's hospital room. I hesitated for a moment before pushing it open gently. Inside, she was sitting up in bed, her frail form supported by pillows. The room smelled of antiseptic, but she still managed to wear a warm smile when she saw me. "Jungkook," she greeted, her voice soft yet steady. I bowed my head slightly before stepping closer. "Mrs. Wylen, I wanted to come see you." She nodded, gesturing to the chair beside her bed. I took a seat, my hands clenching into fists as I struggled to find the right words. "I know I'm probably the last person you want to see right now, but I needed to say this. I'm sorry. For everything. For hurting YN. For everything that led to this." Her eyes, tired but kind, studied me for a long moment. "Jungkook, I appreciate you coming here. But you need to understand something. YN is the one who gets to decide whether she forgives you or not." Her words, though not unkind, felt like a sharp stab to my chest. I nodded slowly, my throat tightening. "I know. I can't lose her. I love her more than anything. And if she wakes up and tells me she wants nothing to do with me, then I'll have to live with that. But I had to tell you. I had to tell someone who loves her just as much as I do." A small smile played on her lips as she reached out and placed her weak but comforting hand over mine. "Jungkook, as long as my daughter is happy, I will support her, no matter what she chooses. That includes you if that's what she wants. That she has been through so much. Give her time." I nodded, a small flicker of hope lighting within me. But before I could say anything else, my phone vibrated in my pocket. I pulled it out, seeing Hymin's name flash across the screen. My stomach dropped. "Excuse me, Mrs. Wylen," I said quickly before answering. "Hymin? We found him." Hymin's voice came through the line. "The van driver. The one who caused the accident. We have his location." My grip on the phone tightened. My jaw clenched as a surge of rage coursed through me. "Where?" "Not over the phone. Come to the address I sent you," Hymin said. I exhaled sharply, running a hand through my hair before standing up. "I'll be there." I turned back to YN's mother, who was watching me closely. "I'm sorry, I have some urgent business to take care of. But please, if she wakes up, I'll be here, Jungkook," she reassured me. "Go." I nodded gratefully before stepping out of the room. As I strode down the hospital corridor, I quickly dialed my mom. She picked up after the first ring. "Jungkook?" "Mum, I need you to stay by YN's side," I said firmly. "If anything happens, anything at all, call me immediately." There was a slight pause before she spoke. "Jungkook, what are you going to do?" "Something I should have done a long time ago," I muttered, my voice cold. "Just stay with her, please." "All right, son," she said, her tone hesitant. "But be careful." I ended the call and stepped outside. The cold night air did nothing to cool the fire burning inside me. I clenched my fists, determination hardening in my chest. It was time to get answers. The warehouse smelled of rust and sweat, dimly lit by a single flickering bulb. The man was tied to a chair, his head hanging low, blood dripping from his split lip. He let out a ragged breath, his body already covered in bruises. I stood before him, my fists still stinging from the impact of my last punch. "Who sent you?" I growled, my patience long gone. The man coughed, spitting blood onto the cold cement floor. I don't know," he wheezed. "It was just a job. I didn't ask questions." Hymin, standing beside me, crossed his arms. "That's a lie. You knew exactly what you were doing." I grabbed the man by the collar, yanking his face up to meet my glare. You almost killed her. You think I'll let you get away with that? My voice was low, deadly. He swallowed hard, fear flashing in his swollen eyes. Please, I swear, I was just following orders. They told me to make it look like an accident. Who? I demanded, tightening my grip. Give me a name. He trembled, his resistance crumbling under the weight of my rage. It was someone powerful. I never saw their face, but they called themselves the boss. They paid me in cash, no questions asked. Jungkook's grip tightened around the man's collar, his knuckles turning white as he slammed him against the cold, damp wall. The man coughed, his face contorted in pain, but Jungkook showed no mercy. Who told you to do it? Jungkook's voice was low and deadly, his patience wearing thin. Who's the boss? The man gasped for breath, trembling as he tried to avert his gaze. I don't know. I was just given instructions. Jungkook scoffed, delivering a sharp punch to the man's gut, making him double over in agony. Don't lie to me. I swear, if you don't talk, I'll make sure you regret it. Before the man could stammer out another excuse, Jungkook's phone rang in his pocket. His jaw clenched as he pulled it out, irritation flaring through him until he saw the caller ID Mom. He hesitated before answering, his breath still ragged from his anger. Mom. Jungkook. His mother's voice was urgent yet relieved. She's awake. YN has woken up. Jungkook's heart stopped for a split second, his grip on the phone tightening. His breath hitched, and for the first time in what felt like an eternity, hope surged through him. I'm on my way, he said quickly, shoving his phone back into his pocket before turning his deadly glare back to the man. You're lucky this time. He turned to Himin and Taeyoung. Take care of the rest. Find out who is really behind this. I need answers. With that, Jungkook stormed out, his mind racing as he rushed to the hospital, desperate to see YN's face again. YN's POV. A soft beeping sound filled the room, blending with the distant murmurs of hospital staff outside. My eyelids felt heavy, as if weighed down by an unseen force, but I managed to pry them open. The sterile white ceiling came into view first, followed by the soft glow of the medical monitors beside me. A dull ache pulsed through my body, my limbs feeling foreign and weak. I blinked, trying to gather my thoughts. The last thing I remembered, I was rushing to the hospital. My mom. Panic shot through me, jolting my heart. Mom? My voice was hoarse, barely above a whisper. A gentle touch on my hand made me flinch, and I turned my head sharply to see a woman sitting beside me. She had a kind face and eyes filled with warmth and relief, but I didn't recognize her. Oh, sweetheart, you're awake, she said softly, her tone soothing yet unfamiliar. Confusion swirled inside me. Who are you? My mom? I need to see her. The woman's face faltered for a brief second before she quickly masked it with a reassuring smile. You're in the hospital, dear. You've been unconscious for a while. But don't worry. Everything will be all right. I tried to sit up, but a sharp pain shot through my ribs, forcing me back down. Frustration and fear clawed at my chest. Please, I need to know if she's okay. The woman hesitated, as if unsure of what to say. Your mother, she's being taken care of. But right now, you need to rest. Tears welled in my eyes as the weight of uncertainty settled over me. I need to see her, I whispered, my voice breaking. The woman reached for my hand again, squeezing it gently. I promise, as soon as you're strong enough, you will. Author's POV. The steady beeping of the hospital monitor was the only sound filling the quiet room. The dim glow of the evening sun cast soft shadows across the white walls, giving the space an almost peaceful air except for the storm raging inside YN's heart. She sat by the window, her gaze fixed outside, refusing to turn around, refusing to acknowledge the man standing at the doorway. Jungkook's breath hitched as he took in the sight of her, frail yet strong, her shoulders tense, her hands clenched into fists on her lap. The woman he had pushed away, hurt and broken. The woman who had been on his mind every second since that night on the rooftop. Beside her, his mother stood, her expression unreadable. She had watched her son struggle with emotions he had never been able to express properly. She had heard the pain in his voice when he finally admitted how much he loved YN. And now, standing here, seeing the distance between them, she knew this was a battle only he could fight. With a small sigh, she stepped forward and gently placed a hand on Jungkook's arm. "I'll leave you two to talk," she said softly, giving YN one last glance before walking out and closing the door behind her. Now it was just them. Jungkook took a shaky step forward. "Why me?" His voice was rough, filled with regret. "Please, look at me." But she didn't move. She stayed staring out the window as if his presence meant nothing.